Hello and welcome to another ProCraft video. The purpose of the video today is not to help people that have been woodworking for many years. There really won't be much, if anything, that I'm going to tell you that you don't already know. But there are quite a lot of people that use our products occasionally, and we do get comments such as these are really difficult to fit or impossible to fit. Particularly when we're talking about very small hinges and tiny tacks that have to be fitted, and some of the small screws that we use. Those that know our product range know that we sell some of the tiniest items that there are available on the market. Some of the hinges that we sell are smaller than my little fingernail, and that's what we're going to look at today, and a little bit at the end about how some of the items that we sell are constructed and what you just might find hidden underneath that maybe you didn't know about. So we're going to start off by simply looking at screws, and the basic principle I will show you on the pillar drill. It's not hugely interesting, but basically I'm going to use our most popular screw, which is a 2x8mm, and the rule of thumb is if you have a 2mm wide self-tapping screw, you need to drill a 1.5mm pilot hole, and that pretty much goes for all of it. So if you have a 2mm, it's a 1.5mm pilot hole. If it's a 2.5mm screw, you need a 2mm pilot hole. If you have a 3mm screw, 2.5mm pilot hole. If you just reduce it by 0.5 mm every time, and you'll see when I go onto the drill how easy that is to do. So here we have a couple of our 2x8mm screws, and it's also important to say you also need the right size screwdriver. And here I've got this one because it's labelled PH1. It's a Phillips head size 1 screwdriver, and that fits very well into the top of these extremely fiddly screws. There we go, you can see that fits nicely. So these screws are 2mm in diameter. So in here I have a 1.5mm drill bit, and I'm going to move the screws off there so they don't fall off. And now let's see how easy those are to install. If you have a slightly magnetic screwdriver, you will see this is actually more difficult to do for the camera than it is to do because I'm having to tilt it up. But there you can see that is very easily fitted onto there. No trickery. Just the right size pilot hole, and that is crucial when fitting any of our small items. And just to show that again, I'll do a second one underneath. There we go, right size, no damage, easy to install and easy to remove if you want to as well. We're now going to look at, just as an example, one of our little antique bronze corners here that you can see, because these are fitted with tiny weeny little tacks, and you can see by the size of my finger and the size of the tack, and I haven't got particularly big fingers, just how small these are. And these are the ones that we get comments on that they're absolutely impossible to fit. Well, let me tell you, they're not. So here's how we do it. The most important things to fit these are having the right tools. One of them is a small hammer like this. If you want to use a sledgehammer, well, good luck to you, but it won't work. You need a small one around about this size. And the other most important thing, we do sell these, but we're not trying to sell them to you, is a little awl. This is a pin sharp awl that we sell. They cost about £3, they're next to nothing. But this will mean that you can get a good fitting on a product as opposed to fighting with it for hours. Because the problem with these little tacks is, because of their size, you can't hold them and knock them in at the same time. So once again, what you need is a little pilot hole, and here's how we're going to do it. I'm simply going to take my awl and make a little hole where the tack's going to go. I can then take the tack, push it in the top, and you will see that it's the right place. And I can now take the hammer tap in the top. That is what I call an easy fitting, and we'll go on just to finish the other two tacks as well. And there you have a perfectly fitted and quite nice product on the corner there, and you can see how easy that was to fit. Well, I hope that's been useful for maybe not many but a few of you, and I did say at the start of the video that I was going to tell you a little trick about some of the products. Now, most of the products that we have, like this little corner that you've seen, are made of steel. After they've been pressed in steel, they're then electroplated in brass, and after that process they then have the antique bronze die put on the top. What I'm going to show you now, we don't offer this service, but you can try it. It's pretty much the same with most antique bronze items. I can't guarantee it on all, but pretty much most of them you'll be able to do this. What you need is, and I'm not ashamed to mention the product, a bit of brass soap, because it's damn good stuff, and you can actually polish off the top of this and you get a nice shiny brass product underneath. Let's have a look. Right, as I said, I'm using brass soap. You could use whatever metal polish that you prefer. I'm guessing this is one that I've just tried and find it works very well. So here you can see is an antique bronze corner. It's made of steel. How do we know it's made of steel? Well, I've got a magnet here. There you go. So we know it's steel underneath. And what we're going to do is just use a little bit of elbow grease. The darker the coating of the antique bronze is, I have to say, the more rubbing that will be required. This is quite a light coating on this one. I'm going to just pop it down there. It's going to make a little bit of mess on the wood, so you might want to do this. This is just on a bit of scrap. And without an awful lot of rubbing, you will see that let's turn our bit of wood over so you can see a little bit better. There is one of the polished brass finished items, and there is one of the antique bronze finish on the top. And there you can hopefully see, if the light's catching it right, the difference between the antique bronze and the polished up brass finish underneath. You have to be a little bit careful not to polish off all the brass, otherwise you'll get down to the steel underneath. But if you wanted a shiny steel coloured one, then polish away. But the brass electroplate is normally reasonably thick on there, so I think those come up quite nicely. So we hope that's been useful. As always, if you need any help or advice, please drop us an email. We're always happy to help if we can. And hopefully we'll see you on our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.